Hello again, my gravy granules. Yes, we're doing another tier list. This time it's going to be all the stages that are in Sengoku BASARA. Sorry, Sengoku BASARA 3, as well as the additional ones in Utage, which I can't remember the full names of them because they're in Japanese, but I've got all the pictures here, so you should be able to see what they look like, and I vaguely remember the names, so I'll just call them whatever I think. So we've got 4 categories: Super Fever, which I actually stole from a different Basara tier list with the games, because that is like the highest combo count, so that's going to be S. This is going to be stages which I would certainly pick. The ones that I enjoy, ones that are good for farming, ones that have good enemies, good enemy variety, you know, just amazing. In some cases, maybe not the best to like play, but it's good to like get new weapons, money, XP, etc, etc. Average pretty much does what it says on the tin. Bad is a stage I will play, but avoid it if I can. Not ones that I particularly enjoy, and definitely avoid are stages in story mode which I will go out of my way to not play, or in the conquest mode, whatever you want to call it. I will literally hope that the AI defeats that faction so I don't have to play the stage. So I'm going to absolutely butcher all the names on here as well. So I'll vaguely talk about the stage and what it entails. So the Battle of Mount Osor, I'm going to put in average. It's an alright stage. So it's obviously got Haramasa Nanbu as the opponent, who is a generic, well, I keep saying generic NPC. He's a unique NPC. He like summons the dead, and he casts like fireballs and stuff. It's got the mechanic of it. Enemy soldiers will revive themselves with those like pot things. It's relatively short. There's not a lot to it. The hidden objectives are really easy to get. So that's defeating him without defeating any of his soldiers, as well as discovering the hidden road. If you go if you go clockwise around it, you can get that first hidden objective really easily. You don't actually have to destroy the pots either. You can just take over the bases, and yeah, it destroys all the pots instantly. Dragon Race Oshu, I'm going to put in definitely avoid. I absolutely detest this stage. So there's not a lot of enemies in it. It has got a long winding road. You have to race Masamune to all around anti-clockwise to some neutral base, and you have to hit it before he captures it, which he can be very cheeky. He can be behind you and then he will just appear out of nowhere and take it from you. And then you have to fight Kojuro. Once he's defeated, you have to then race backwards, going clockwise to where Masamune is. So the first hidden objective is to beat Masamune to that neutral base, which isn't actually that hard. You just keep running into the red crates with the Basara gauge refills in it, and you can beat him that way. He has got a lot of rubber banding, so if you're like following him, he won't actually go that far ahead of you, but if you're way in front of him, he will catch up with you. So you can kind of wait until the cave at the end if you've got like full Basara, and just keep running into the red pots, and you can overtake him that way. The second objective, which I've never actually done, is to actually defeat Kojuro before he gets back to Masamune. He's always in front of you. The horse damage is absolutely pathetic. Tadagatsu Honda has this as one of his stages like a stage you can't avoid in one of his routes, and you can't ride horses as Tadagatsu, so both objectives are actually impossible for him. It's just bad design and basically not playing the game. All the other Masamune stages where you ride on horses and stuff are a lot better than this one, so whatever, definitely avoid for me. The fight at the end, though, if you fight Kojuro and Masamune, is actually the best way to get parry objectives and like the items from parrying attacks, because they both attack at the same time. They're relatively easy to parry. I don't know why, just those two together seem to be pretty easy. Siege of Hasedo Castle. I'm going to put in average. So this has got Yoshiaki Mogami as a commander. You got to protect a boat from being shot reaches his base. The two hidden objectives are to prevent any damage to the boat, which is fairly difficult, I want to say, especially on hard. You can do it as Magoichi with the rockets, which is fairly easy. If you don't capture one of the bases in enough time, it won't raise the gate and the boat will have to go all the way around. Likewise with the gate to his base, which you have to wait for the boat to go past and then it shoots some guys, so it opens a gate for you. If you don't reach that, it will just keep doing a circle. And then the second objective is to defeat the hidden Drillatron, which is in an area below where Yoshiaki is. You can reach it by going up, climbing some terrain outside of his base, and then there's like a catapult that will move you over there to do that. So I think it's alright. The Drillatron isn't the best boss. It's something I actively despise, but it is quite a nice little thing that is hidden in the stage. But yeah, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. It's kind of annoying protecting the base, and there is actually some cavalry or horses around which you can ride to reach the bases quicker, but it's like in the middle of the stage, so it's not like the best placed thing. Headstrong at Kabuto, I think that's what it's called. The names on here are so ridiculously small, so I'm like, I can't read. Anyway, I'm going to put this in Super Fever. I really like this stage. It's simple. It's got Yoshitake Satake as a boss, who's another unique NPC. It said it right that time. So it's got a bunch of bases that you have to capture. It's relatively easy. The enemies don't seem to capture the bases, so it's quite a quick stage to do. Both the hidden objectives are really easy. It's capture all the bases and defeat every unit. At least I think that's what it is. I don't really go for the defeating the unit one. Sometimes they manage to defeat themselves, or your allies, as useless as they are, seem to defeat them for you. So yeah, it's quite a simple stage. If you take the path on the right first, well, capture the base in front of you and then take the right path right up the hill, and then capture that base, defeat the occupied chiefs or whatever they're called, and yeah, protect that base for a little bit, and then you can go up another hill where that base is, and then there's a zip line that takes you right down to the other base. So you capture that and you've immediately opened up to where the commander is, and then you can just rush in there and kill him. So it's very, very quick. Battle at Kanagawa, where shall I put this? I'm going to put this in average. This stage does annoy me a bit, but it is relatively quick. You can just avoid the fog. It's got tigers in it, which are really annoying because they seem to do that pinning attack, or they basically just stagger you a lot more than any other enemy in the game. It's got basically the same map as the Battle of Teterigawa, which is obviously Matsu and Toshie stage, but I'm not sure what's actually different about it, but it is the same map. It's relatively quick because you can, as soon as you open the first gate, you could, if you want to avoid the fog, just go to the area on the left. There's a catapult which will teleport you to an area just outside of where the commander is. You open the gate there and you can just rush in and kill him. So it's relatively quick. I like how I'm describing a stage as good because the less of the stage you have to play. But the hidden objectives are defeat 10 tigers and dispel the mist, which basically just involves capturing all the bases, which is pretty easy. So there. Kawanakajima Tundra. Where do we put this? I'm going to put this in... I quite like this stage. So it's got three semi-playable characters in it. So obviously Kenshin and Kasuga are playable in Utage, but they're not in the original Basara. But it also has Keiji as a boss. So you can defeat 4 of them if you want. So you can immediately defeat Keiji before to get to the area where Kanetsugu, the Invincible, is. And then Keiji will respawn. Or you can take the first base and then it opens up a hidden path, which if you do that, you immediately get a second objective. Then you can jump down and defeat Keiji, or you can just avoid him and he'll stay there for the rest of the stage. So the map expands a couple of times in this. Obviously it's very small at the beginning, and then as soon as you defeat Kanetsugu, there'll be like an ambush where Kasuga will appear and it'll expand the map. Then you have to defeat Kasuga and Keiji. There is a bunch of catapults in the stage which you can take to get to places quicker. One of them takes you to a base which if you capture you can then get a horse, so it's very easy to get around. There's a bunch of like hidden boxes and stuff which you can go and get. Relatively quick, I want to say. It hasn't got really any special gimmicks other than it's got Kanetsugu in it, which you can just defeat. And some of the voice lines are pretty funny when it's just Keiji and Kanetsugu, and he's like, "I'm invincible." It's like, didn't you just get mauled by a dog the other day? Didn't some kid from your hometown beat you up? It's really good. I quite like it. So,
as long as Kanetsugu the Invincible is here, Kawanakajima too will be invincible.
Didn't some kid from your hometown just beat you up the other day?
And it's obviously got Kasuga in it, which the more eye candy, the better. Flooding Ueda Castle. I'm going to put this in average. These hidden objectives are pretty easy. It's an alright design. So the hidden objectives are wash away Sasuke's clones, which it literally doesn't matter where you are. As soon as you open the floodgate to the left of him, it will wash them away regardless where he is on the map. And the other hidden objective is to ambush Yukimura, which you can do by capturing all the floodgates, and then instead of going over the bridge to him, you run around and then capture the base behind him, and it lowers a drawbridge. So it's okay. There's a bunch of like hidden stuff underneath the map when you can. I'm trying to think of where putting it. When you open all the floodgates and drain the water, there's a bunch of areas which has got like blue boxes for like items and gold and stuff, which you can go and do, and yeah, it's quite neat. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in average for that. Assault on Ueda Castle, I'm gonna put in bad. Another stage I don't like. It just happens that it's got Masamune in it again. So this is like the opposite of flooding Ueda Castle, where you he actually destroys the bases for you. It's just, I don't think there's really a lot to this stage. That's the only thing. The hidden objectives are like defeat all enemies and open 24 blue boxes, which I haven't bothered to do because you have to basically wait until Masamune's opened all the floodgates, you recapture them, and then you can go around and get them all. It's just not, for me, it's just not fun. And it's not a stage that's that common either. I think it's only in about 3 characters' stories. One of them is like you're basically waiting for Yukimura to be defeated by Masamune. I think Mitsunari has it as one of his stages, and I think Yukimura has it as one of his as well. But whatever. Odawara Castle. I don't know where I want to put this. I'm going to put this in average as well. A lot of these are probably going to go in average. So this is the best stage for item boxes, which if you capture the 3 bases at the beginning, under 2 minutes you can open a side gate to the castle, and then there's like a whole route around where like on the roof, and if you reach the bit before you grapple like rappel over to where Kotaro is, if you drop down and then get all the blue boxes there, that is like the most blue boxes in the game. So it's so that's for a trophy, and if you just want materials, I suppose that's kind of good. It's not as good in Utage because obviously they changed the material system that way. Yeah, it's got an absolute load of enemies. You can actually get both objectives in one go, which is to ambush Ujimasa. So you have to go the whole route around on the roof, and the other one is to defeat all enemies, which after a certain amount of time after ambushing Ujimasa, he will open the gate to the rest of the stage, and then all the units in there will come and attack you. So you can do it that way, but it takes quite a long time. But if you just want like a massive brawl, this is a stage for you. But also if you want to be like quick and just defeat a few enemies, so you can do the rooftop route, which I guess is okay. Like, the platforming in this game isn't the best, but it's whatever. It's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't mind this stage. It's one I will pick. I can't actually read that. Is it Karamuko Castle? I'm gonna put in Super Fever. I quite like this stage. So it's got a bunch of easy objectives. So one of them is to open the castle within 2 minutes. If you do that, if you capture it in 2 minutes, or if you have all the bases captured at once, like the 4 with the X's on, the drawbridge won't go down. And then you can go around and do the second objective, which is defeat every enemy unit. It's pretty easy, so it's got a bunch of catapults as well, so if you want to get around the stage quicker, it's quite fun. Some characters do struggle with this, because 2 minutes is quite tight, and you literally have to sort of pray that the enemy don't recapture the bases. It's fairly big stage as well. It's got a bunch of like hidden areas as well. There's like a base in the top which contains like weapon and material boxes. The enemy commander as well is actually quite fun to fight because he like summons trees and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to put it in Super Fever. It's one I will pick. I haven't actually picked it in Utage that much because he usually gets defeated within the first round. But yeah, it's kind of a fun stage, I want to say. Battle of Tetorigawa, I'm going to put in definitely avoid. I really don't like this stage. So it's obviously got 2 commanders of Toshie and Matsu, Toshie being the inferior version to the Samurai Warriors version. So initially it starts, you have to fight him, and then on his own, and then Matsu will appear and she'll just keep feeding him food. So, well, rice balls, so you have to take her out first. The hidden objectives are capture all the storehouses, which lowers their food, or the other objective is make Matsu run out of food. So it's basically capture all but one base and then attack Toshie enough that she depletes the food herself. So you can't get both objectives in one go. It's kind of annoying. They will recapture bases really quickly as well. So taking out Matsu first is basically what you have to do. I really just do not like this stage. It's just annoying. Like on any difficulty as well, even on easy, they can like just recapture the bases so bloody quickly, and you're constantly fighting. As soon as you like capture one base and then go to the next, they will have recaptured one, which it's just not fun. It's like a game of fucking whack-a-mole. Cliffs of Migatakahara. I'm going to put in average. It's okay. So it's quite a long stage in terms of like actual length. I seem to do it the same way every time, which is capture the base, take the zip wire down to the next one, capture that. Well, sometimes I'll defeat Tadagatsu because he'll appear once you've captured the second base. If I defeat him, then I just carry on as normal. If not, then I will zip line and then just rush to the area where he'll start bombarding you with the lightning. Once you do that, you go through that gate and then you take the catapult up to the hidden area, capture that base. It will stop the lightning and then you go down and defeat Tadagatsu. If you do defeat Tadagatsu, that completes a hidden objective, and then he will like respawn, but he'll have half health, which happens anyway once he like overloads. So it's relatively quick, and then you fight Ieyasu on top of the hill. If you don't do that, I can't actually remember if Tadagatsu keeps summoning lightning if you just ignore him, but Ieyasu will jump off his like high hill and then you'll fight him on the ground, which isn't as interesting. It's got a few like hidden areas with like blue boxes with gold and stuff in like little crevices and stuff on the side of like the mountains. I can't remember what the second hidden objective is. I think it's like capture all bases or something. So not enough to go in Super Fever, and Ieyasu is quite a common boss in this game, so it does get a bit annoying if you have to like keep doing this stage. It's quite a common one in the story mode as well. So the last stand, I can't really put indefinitely avoid because Some characters have this in their route regardless, but then it also appears as like a random stage 2 that just gets in your way when you're doing the conquest mode or just in a story. If it's a random one, you can literally just reload the game and it will disappear. I'm going to put it in bad. The thing is, like, when the stage comes up, it really pisses me off. Like, I don't want to play it, but I do actually find this stage quite fun. So there's no enemy commanders in this at all. It appears in Kanbei's story as like Yoshitsugu is supposed to be the commander, but he doesn't actually appear. It's like just a plot point. So the things you got to do in this one are defeat, is it 10 or 20 occupation chiefs before they open one of the drawbridges, and the other one is to capture all bases. Capturing all bases is really easy. You only have to capture them once. You can have them recaptured and you still get the objective. The second one's a bit harder depending on the character. So characters like Magoichi, Masamune, I'm trying to think who else can do it really quickly. Like Kenshin is really easy. Keiji, pretty easy. Mitsunari, really easy as well. You can absolutely breeze through this stage. Characters like what's his name, Yoshihiro Shimazu, will really struggle because they're so slow. So what you can do is just let the drawbridge be captured immediately and then just sit inside your base and protect it that way. It's kind of an interesting concept, but it's basically the same each time. Like, there's no like expansion of the stage. In terms of like the stage getting bigger, there are places where the occupation chiefs will appear from more frequently, or new places they'll spawn from, but they just get a bit annoying. I kind of wish they did this stage again, but like not just have it like more variety to it, but whatever. So then we have the, how many is there, 7 versions of Sekigahara, which I'm just trying to remember which ones they are. So there's like 6 Ieyasu, sorry, 3 for Ieyasu and then 3 for the other side. One of them's got Montanori Mori as the commander, but Mitsunari is in it as a thing, and I'm just trying to remember which ones they are. So this is the one where you Sekigahara Betrayal is the one which you have to escort a rifleman unit to get Hideaki to defect. Tenkai will still be an enemy commander, which you have to defeat, which I'm going to put in bad because it's just not enjoyable. You don't actually get this stage that often. I struggled to remember the last time I actually had to pick it outside of getting all the fugitives. So yeah, kind of dumb. Sekigahara schemes I'm going to put in average. Sorry, the hidden objectives for that is, one is to get Hideaki to defect, but I can't remember the other one. Sekigahara schemes is a unique stage to only Kanbei on his blue or green route, I think it is. So it's obviously got Montanori Mori as the commander. It's the same stage as Sekigahara Assembly, except you go the other way. You have to defeat Motochika and then the Rising Sun, but they're basically every Eastern Army... No, sorry, every Western Army general is in this stage, and it's got like the light beam contraption, which you have to defeat each of the commanders to prevent that from happening. And once you do that, the Rising Sun will appear as a boss at the end, and the like the beam ray thing will malfunction and destroy it for you. Then you have to defeat Motonari. So it's okay. It's not that common, but I've had fun with it. One of the hidden objectives is for the light beam thing to defeat the Rising Sun, but that's okay. Sekigahara 0 Hour, I'm going to put in average as well. It's okay. It's a relatively short stage. It's the same as Sekigahara Ultimate, except you got Mitsunari as a commander. You have to defeat Yoshihiro and... what is his name? I can't even remember the name. He's Minoshige Tachibana as like the first bosses, and then it's got like... I think it's got Magoichi and what's his name, as Tsuruhime in it as well, or is it? It's got a bunch of bosses, but it's a relatively short stage, relatively easy. No, sorry, it's got Yoshihiro and Muneshige, and then it's got Yoshitsugu Otani and Kanbei, and then it launches like the poison mist, and they go to different bases each, and if you capture the bases, it dispels the mist, basically. And then you've got Mitsunari as a commander. It's relatively short, it's okay, it's not like a grand finale, but it's certainly a lot better than these ones down here. Sekigahara Assembly, this is the one where you have to... No, it's not. There should be another one. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting really confused here. So Sekigahara Assembly is the one where you have to prevent Hideaki from reaching Ieyasu. It's the same stage as Sekigahara Schemes. I'm trying to think who you have to defeat first. So you can if you capture the bases, it stops Hideaki from reaching. Well, it slows him down for a short bit. It's got Magoichi and Tsuruhime as bosses. Protecting one gate, you have to fight both of them at the same time, which is incredibly annoying. I'm going to put in bad because it's just annoying. Fighting those two together, especially on like harder difficulties, they just absolutely body you for no fucking reason. Yeah, it's just okay, I guess. Sekigahara Ultimate, I'm going to put in the same category as 0 Hour. It is literally the same map as well. This time you're fighting Ieyasu, Yoshiaki Mogami, Kotaro and Uchimasa Hojo. So they each go to a separate base, which you have to capture to prevent Tadagatsu from summoning some lightning. He'll basically overheat, I think they call it. The lightning is periodic, and it doesn't happen the whole stage, but as soon as you capture all the bases, it basically stops. As soon as you start fighting Ieyasu, Tadagatsu will appear when he gets to about half health. And then you can defeat him that way. It's quite actually hard to defeat Tadagatsu in this stage because, well, Ieyasu is more likely to die first because he's already on half health, and Tadagatsu is an absolute tank. It's okay, it's relatively quick, it's a small map. It's got catapults to launch you from area to area, so not a lot to say about that. I think one of the hidden objectives is to defeat Tadagatsu, but that's obviously a little bit more difficult. But whatever. Sekigahara Aftermath. This is one which has got Masamune and Kojiro in it. I'm going to put it in average as well. So you can defeat Tadagatsu to open up like a hidden area, then it blocks off a different path. But if you don't defeat him, then you can reach Kojiro quicker. So if you sacrifice one of the hidden objectives, which is to defeat Tadagatsu, and have that like mini ambush thing, then you make the other objective a bit harder. The other objective is defeat Kojiro and Masamune, but you have to defeat Kojiro first. You have to like prevent him from rendezvousing with Masamune. So it's okay. The stage design is alright. Yeah, so Sekigahara Intrusion, I'm going to put in Super Fever. It's amazing. It's got the largest... This is a stage which you'll probably get the most amount of like trophies from. So it appears as a final stage for a bunch of characters like Yoshihiro's Green Route, one of Nobunaga's Paths. Keiji has it as a final stage as well. It's the best stage for farming gold. You just pick Mitsunari with the gold weapon, and then you just spam his R1 attack plus triangle or whichever one. Makes it a bit easier. So you just get like Super Fever combos in this, and just as long as you don't let your combo go down, you can just rack up like literally thousands. I think the highest I've got is like 80,000 gold in one go. So it's pretty ridiculous. So obviously it's a three-way battle. It has Mitsunari and Ieyasu as bosses, as well as like Tadagatsu and Yoshitsugu Otani. I always struggle to say his name for some reason, but it is what it is. So I'm not actually sure if there's a time limit for spawning those two. which obviously progresses the stage, but you can basically just have an absolute blast. It's not a quick stage, that's the one fault with it, so you just need to keep like going at it and beating the crap out of people until those two appear. If you defeat Yoshitsugu first, Tadagatsu will disappear, and then if you defeat Mitsunari after that, if you defeat the western side first, then Tadagatsu will appear at the end to help Ieyasu. But if you defeat Tadagatsu first and then Yoshitsugu and then Ieyasu, Yoshitsugu will heal Mitsunari. So it's got a few little quirks. The hidden objectives are defeat 1,000 enemies, which is really easy, and get a 10,000 hit combo, which, considering Yoshihiro has this as a final stage, is actually quite hard to get a 10,000 hit combo because he's so bloody slow. But it is what it is. Kanagasaki Nightmare. Let's put this in... I'm going to put this in average. It's a stage I will pick. I quite like Uichi as a boss. I do like when she's like talking to herself and she's like... I think it's probably one of Laura Bailey's best performances actually as Uichi. Some of the things she says are quite like interesting, but also like kind of heartbreaking. She's quite a tragic character in this, and when she's like singing as well, that's quite, I don't know, it's very like soothing. I play the stage the same way each time with the hidden objectives. So the hidden objectives are rescue all the prisoners, which there's one thing in each area, one cage, as well. Except for the area very north, which says 2, which you can take the catapults to get to each of them. And then in the final area, there's 2 cages there, which you have to do. The hidden objective, another hidden objective, is defeat Uichi without capturing any bases, which is fairly easy, except if you're using the rockets for Magoichi, you can accidentally capture that neutral base and fail the objective that way. So capturing that neutral base fails the objective. She does regenerate if you don't capture a base, so you've got to be fairly strong to do this, but it's quite quick. The fugitives are pretty easy to find in this as well, except if it spawns behind your starting area, which within 2 minutes it will always spawn, and then if it's in that last area, it's kind of annoying. So yeah, so obviously you work clockwise in this stage, unlike the next stage, which is Siege of Kanagasaki, which I'm going to put in bad. This is less enjoyable, so Uichi doesn't reappear in this stage. She's not actually the final boss either. Tenkai is the final boss. However, if you're playing this version of the stage in Utage, Tenkai doesn't appear and Uichi is actually the last boss. So there's technically two bosses in this stage, or one depending on which game you're playing. I should mention the Utage version, in quick battle, Tenkai is the boss, but not if you do any other mode, which this stage appears. But it's not that common to get. So you work anti-clockwise. You start from where you defeat Uichi in the Siege of Kanagasaki. This is actually part of the plot of Sengoku BASARA 3 Samurai Heroes. It's required to get Nobunaga. It's got a bunch of occupation chiefs, which I'm not actually sure why they're all desperate to capture the bases, but they're kind of annoying. They just ambush you throughout the stage. It takes bloody ages to get anywhere, and you're kind of rushing at the beginning, because if they capture a base, just an absolute ton of them appear, and they will ignore you to go and capture the bases which you're already in control of. So if you're quick enough, you can actually capture the first 2 neutral bases, depending on which character you're playing as. Yeah, I just don't like it. There's way too many bomb troops in this as well, and if you're playing on hard, they just absolutely melt you. So it's in some stages where there's bomb troops, it's fine because they're you can actually see where they're coming from, but in this one they just sort of appear out of nowhere and then obliterate you. I think it's only the last 2 bases they really become an absolute bloody nuisance. So yeah, I'm going to put it in bad, not a stage I like. Instant Hanoji, I'm also going to put in bad. This is the same every fucking time. So you go to capture the first base. Nobunaga sacrifices themselves to revive himself. So each base he captures or manages to sacrifice, it will add an extra boss fight to the stage. So you can defeat him up to like 5 times. It's always the same order with the way he goes to capture the bases. It's always the one in the southwest first, and then the one in the northwest, and then the one just north of that, and then it's the one on the very west, and then the one just above that, and then finally it's the one which is about at 4 o'clock. It's kind of annoying. It prevents you from actually playing the game in some ways, so you kind of have to be like really quick to capture the bases and then immediately go and take over the bases that he's trying to sacrifice. If he manages to sacrifice a base, then it just deletes it from the map basically. But if they manage to recapture it, he will try and obviously keep sacrificing it. So you have to be quick and try and defeat every enemy unit, so you're not doing like another game of whack-a-mole. Much more annoying than the Battle of Tetorigawa in a way, but it does actually have quite a fun boss fight, and there are catapults in the stage to get you from A to B a bit quicker. Some of them are more hidden. I think the first base he tries to sacrifice there, I don't think there's a catapult down there to get you to the next area, but whatever. Yeah, it's just annoying, and also because it's attached to the Siege of Kanagasaki, if you pick this as your ending, then you have to do the incident at Hinoji. There's no way of backing out of it. So unless you're going for like 100% completion, or you're trying to get Nobunaga for the first time, then just like avoid both of these. Battle of Osaka Winter, or just Osaka Winter as it's called. I'm going to put in average. Yeah, there's a lot of stages that go in average in this. So it's very long stage in terms of like design. So you have to capture a bunch of bases, which leads to a central area, which you've got to defeat the Death Carriage, which is its only appearance in this game, I think. Does it appear in another? Oh, it does appear in Utage as like optional bosses and stuff, and on another stage. It's kind of an annoying boss. I think the hidden objective is defeat it within 2 minutes, or it might be 1. It just runs around all the time, and it's fucking annoying. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it in bad. Yeah, like, just thinking about it now, the Death Carriage is just an annoying enemy. Then you have to capture 4 bases above where that area is to prevent Poison Mist, which Yoshitsugu launches on you, which drains your health slowly. You do that, and then you have to defeat Yoshitsugu, and then there's a long climb up a hill to get to where Mitsunari is. Mitsunari is an incredibly annoying boss in this stage, like more annoying than any of his other appearances. I don't know why, at least for me. One of the objectives is defeat all enemy units, and the other one is defeat the Death Carriage within 2 minutes. Yeah, the Death Carriage is just a fucking pain that makes me dislike this stage. Retaking Osaka Castle, I'm going to put in average. So unlike this one, it has got an optional boss, which is the hidden Drillatron, as well as you can actually skip some objectives by defeating it. So it's got exactly the same layout as the original Osaka Winter stage. You start in the bottom left again, then the area which you defeat the Death Carriage, Kanbei actually orders like a bombardment on that area, and then you have to capture the 4 bases to stop him doing it. However, if you go for the one just north of that area, there's like a path around with some platforming which leads to a catapult. If you take the catapult, it takes you to an area in the west where there's a Drillatron, and then if you defeat that, he stops his bombardment, and you also get a hidden objective for that, so it's kind of okay. There's a bunch of traps in this which Kanbei will launch on you to like stop you from trying to get to his area, like boulders and stuff, which are really easy to avoid. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's at least you don't have to defeat the Death Carriage. Even though I dislike the Drillatron, you can avoid it, but you have to take all the bases, so it's okay, I guess. Osaka Tiger Summer. I'm going to put this in Super Fever. It's really good. So there is quite an easy way of completing this stage. This is probably one of the reasons why I'm going to put it here as a hard stage. So if you're doing this on hard or any of the higher things, you get a lot better weapons than any others. So what you can do is defeat Sasuke to begin with, and then capture the 2 bottom bases. And then there's an area under where Yukimura is at the top of the map. It's got a catapult which will launch you to a area, like a area higher than the base in the top right. If you follow that path around, it takes you to another one. It basically makes you circle around until you get to a catapult, or is it a zip line? I think it's a zip line in the bottom corner, and it will launch you into the castle in the middle without having to capture all the bases. And you can do that and just capture the base in the middle, and you get a hidden objective for that. So that's kind of fun, I guess. And also the voice lines that Yukimura has when he does that. It's like, how did they get in here? Stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So that's what I'm going to put.
How could they have managed to infiltrate?
Osaga Dragon Summer. You know what? For the variety of this stage, I'm going to put it in that. So much like it's got the same map as a Tiger Summer, but you start where Yukimura is, and you have to defeat Kojiro to get out to begin with. And then what you can do is you can either capture 4 bases in which there'll be a cannon shot that will destroy Tadagatsu, or you can just defeat him yourself, who's very hard, and then it leads to an area where you defeat Ieyasu and then finally Masamune. So it's got a bunch of variety. It is kind of annoying recapturing the bases, but I quite like it as a stage. It can be either really quick, or you can take the more like blood-soaked path of having to capture all the bases and avoid Tadagatsu. It's kind of fun, so I'm going to put it in Super Fever for that reason. I should mention, like, these 2 aren't stages that you can really pick because they just appear at random in some... Well, I say appear at random. In Utage, they appear at random, depending on your performance in the conquest mode, or whatever you want to call it. But they're like final stages for Masamune and Yukimura, and Mitsunari has this as the last stage as well on one of his story routes. Psycho Stronghold. This is relatively easy stage, but having to play it over and over again just get a bit annoying. I'm going to put it in average. I wouldn't say it's bad, but the hidden objectives are like really easy. So capture all the bases, and then instead of going to where Magoichi is, you go around a path and take a catapult to a base, and then you capture it, you get an objective that way. Also, discovering the hidden ambush gets you another hidden objective. It's got a bunch of traps that you can avoid, which they're very easy to avoid because they're like massively signposted, but if you capture the bases attached to said traps, they just disappear. It's got a bunch of riflemen, so if you need like parrying or want to learn how to defeat riflemen or like avoid them, it's a good stage for that. It's got a load of bomb troops as well, or like dynamite throwers or whatever you want to call them, which get a bit annoying, I must say. Yeah, Magoichi's quite a nice boss, but yeah, I'm going to put it average. It's not a stage I think's actually bad, but it's not a stage that I think's like, wow. It just gets annoying because it's in basically everybody's story. So, Siege of Karasu Castle, I think that's what it's called. The writing's very small on this. I'm going to put it in S simply because there's one route which you can take, which is probably the shortest stage in the game, where you just defeat Tenkai, who's really easy. It's got the corrosive pots in that area, which double damage to anybody like in that area. So you can lead him down there and then just absolutely body him, and like the stage is over really quickly. The main problem with it is there's like a load of bomb troops, which if you're in the corrosive mist, they will just like basically one-shot you. Yeah, the side with Hideaki I've not actually done in some time because you can just defeat Tenkai. The only time you have to do it to defeat Hideaki is actually in Nobunaga's story, which is this has got the ending stage as one of the battles. You have to defeat Hideaki to get the other ending. That's how you get 100% with him. So yeah, it's got like a bunch of pots for Hideaki which you have to put out, otherwise he'll like keep recovering health, but just ignore that and just go for the Tenkai route, which is the one on the left. So yeah.
Shed your reason, your morals, your ethics. Lose yourself in the fight. Let the blood rain down upon us.
This stage, which is Grassentoda Castle, I think it's called. This is going to go indefinitely avoid. I fucking hate this stage, like with an absolute passion. So this guy appears in a random base. It's usually he always appears in the first one, and then it's usually the one just in the middle, and then he can go to any of them randomly. You can defeat him quick enough before he sticks his sword in the sand and then disappears. You have to juggle him to do that though, because he seems to be like basically unstaggerable for that. He's just annoying. He's not an interesting boss in the slightest, other than he sounds like Ling Tong from Dynasty Warriors. Well, before they fucking ruined the voice acting, because Dynasty Warriors 9 is an abomination. Yeah, it's just not a good stage. I just hate it. You can capture all the bases and unlock a hidden stage, hidden area, which he will retreat to the next time you defeat him. And then it's got like a bunch of hidden items, but that takes way too long. And yeah, I just hate this stage with a passion. I would just ignore it. So Battle of Itsukushima, I'm going to put in average. It's kind of fun. You can't get both objectives at the same time. One of them is defeat all units. Well, technically you can, but enemies respawn so fast that it's basically impossible. And the other one is don't capture any bases and then defeat Motonari. So you got to have the fucking seagulls outside. So sorry if that picks up on the microphone, because I don't live near the sea, and yet there's seagulls because people at the community college keep fucking littering, and they literally get food that way. Whatever, going on a tangent here. So what you can do is yeah, don't capture any bases because he's got like the light beam thingies. I'm going to just close the window. Oh my god, shut the fuck up! Don't even live near the fucking sea. Still ridiculously bloody loud. Anyway, so what you can do is just ignore the bases, and he's got like that light beam attack. I don't even know what you want to call it, but he does that. And you have to defeat him whilst dodging the laser beams, basically. And you get a hidden objective for that. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of goofy. So it's relatively quick if you do that version. That's all I want to say, really. I can't even pronounce that. It's Motochika's stage. I'm going to put in definitely avoid. I do not like this stage. It's just a bad design. Like, who the fuck thought of this stage? So you start off by fighting a rising sun, which if you defeat in 2 minutes, you complete half of a hidden objective. The other one is to is it defeat all? Yeah, defeating all enemy units is the other hidden objective. But the design comes in. The stage is basically a square with a whole bunch of traps. If you go left, then you get hit by every single trap by going clockwise. And if you capture a base, it disables the traps that you've already made your way through. If you go anti-clockwise and capture the bases, it disables all the traps that you would run into. So the much preferred route is going anti-clockwise and capturing all the bases that way. So you avoid all the traps. There's literally no reason to go left ever. It's not quicker in any way. In fact, it's probably more... not only is it more detrimental in the fact that you get hit by traps, enemy units take the path that you take if you go right, because there's like hidden areas up there to get to the bases, and they'll recapture the bases after you, and you have to capture all the bases to get to the area which Motochika's in with the second Rising Sun, which if you defeat that in 2 minutes as well, you get another hidden objective. So yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad design. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just, I fucking despise it. And Motochika as a character is just kind of annoying. Like, he's not actually that bad, but he's just, like, I don't know, he's always, like, the only thing he goes on about is, Ieyasu betrayed me. Wow, get over it. My best friend betrayed me as well, the stupid fucking cow. But whatever. I don't know why I had to go on that tangent, but it is what it is. Battle at Noshima, you know what, it's going to go in Super Fever for one reason, because Tsuruhime is very cute. Like, when you defeat her the first time, it does a cutscene, and then she goes, and just does this really cute noise, and it's quite funny. She's a very hard boss to defeat. It's relatively quick. The hidden objectives are kind of derpy, so you have to be like really quick to get reinforced. So the stage is really small, so you only got like one boat at the beginning. If you capture the first base in like under a minute or whatever, reinforcements for your side will show up, so you don't have to capture that base yourself. If you're too slow, then it'll be enemy reinforcements. And then a bit further on in the stage, Tsuruhime will appear. You have to defeat her 3 times, I think it is. Once she takes enough damage, she'll like jump in the air and do that cute noise. If you defeat her within, I think it's like 2 minutes or 3 minutes total, then reinforcements for you will appear, and it makes the stage a lot easier. But if not, it'll be more enemies will appear. So it's okay. I quite like the design. I quite like the ship battle. It's kind of cool. Yeah. And as a boss, she's very hard. It's I don't know a way of putting this. It makes you learn that like not every character is going to be such like a pushover. Like especially ranged characters like her, she is pretty relentless on hard. Like she pins you in place, she attacks you from range. As a stage to like learn to be better at the game, it's probably like one of the best ones. It's got troops which have those stupid like shrine things that slow you down, so it's got like decent enemy variety on it as well. It's got like riflemen. It's quite cool. The NPC voices in it as well are quite funny. So it's like, we have a lot of requests for fortunes today and stuff like that. And a stage using the same thing, Pirates of Noshima, going in definitely avoid as well. So it appears as a final stage for, I think it's Kanbei, Motonari and Tsuruhime, if you take any of their like alternate routes. So it's got most of the same design as Battle at Noshima, except this time you're preventing like does it call them porters or something like that? So they're carrying these materials which go to build a rising sun at the end of the stage. They appear in 3 different bases, all massively apart from each other. You can capture the bases yourself to like semi-prevent them from getting there, but it's just annoying. It's like back and forth for no reason, when you can just like let the stage run and just defeat a fully built rising sun at the end, which isn't actually too hard. They're annoying, but not like impossible to defeat. You just destroy a couple of their legs and they seem to do it. But it's just like defeating them is just annoying. If you let one of them go through, then it's like the rising sun still has full health, and there isn't like that much difference between a one porter built rising sun or like a fully built one, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it's just annoying, and it's got the bloody Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack on it as well, which both of these have, because obviously it's a pirates, but it just gets a bit annoying after a while. Mine's Ishikashima, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. I'm butchering this. I'm going to put in bad. It just takes so long. The design isn't very good either. So you've got to protect a bunch of bomb troops to blow up some debris in the map. The bad design comes in that second area where there's like a loop, as it were. One of the paths to get to one of the bases is so fucking long that it makes the second objective borderline impossible. So the second objective is don't let more than 3 bomb troops be defeated, which there's a split path which the bomb troops appear, which you have to protect to get the debris, and it's just so far out of your way, and enemies try and recapture the bases quite often if you let one of them live. So it's just annoying, and it's got the Drillatron as a boss, which in this, like, an unavoidable boss in this stage, and it's just not just annoying. It's defeat the Drillatron within 1 minute as well, which if you don't defeat it before it goes underground, you're not getting it, basically, because as soon as it goes underground, it just puts the drill bit up, which can't be defeated if you just attack the drill bit. You have to wait for it to actually reappear on the ground level for you to destroy it. Yeah, it's just annoying. I just do not like this stage one bit. I wouldn't say it's bad. I will play it, but it's not like, it's not one of these which I will go out of my way to try and avoid. But yeah, is what it is. I can't even pronounce that. Memories. I'm just going to call it Memories because the other one's called Heroes. So this is a really long stage design as well. You start in the bottom right, and then you have to go all the way around to the top corner, which Sorin Otomo is in. I'm going to put this in... I'm going to put it in bad. It's not a stage I like. You can defeat Munashige so he stops following you around, but you can also capture bases to bring up bridges which have Sorin and Xavi's face on, which Munashige will refuse to run onto. And yeah, it's the voice lines are kind of funny, but it's a stage of dislike because it's got so many of those like shrine troops which do the debuff on you. Yeah, it just gets a bit annoying after a while, and it's just, I don't know, it just takes so long for no reason. There is a bit of cheese you can do. If you're playing as Yoshihiro, you get into a deadlock thing with Munashige, and then you do your R1 instant kill move. So your special move, which does an instant kill on anybody, because the recovery time is so long on losing a duel that you can just instantly kill him, and then it makes the stage a lot faster. So the last bit is defeating Sorin whilst he's in that giant Xavi robot thing, which is actually just annoying. It shoots rockets at you all the time. You can actually reflect the rockets in this game, which is quite interesting. So if you like attack before if you attack or dodge, I think it will reflect the rockets back at him. Sorry, I just had something in my throat then. Yeah, once it's destroyed, he will appear with like no health outside of it, and then he just like runs away. So it's a one-hit kill on him. But yeah, I can't say it's like fun. Also, if you capture all the bases and don't defeat Munashige, he will constantly spawn occupation chiefs out the side of this giant robot thing to go and capture the base. So Munashige can actually come and help him, which makes the boss fight a lot harder. But yeah, it's just kind of annoying. And then the Heroes version, which has got a bunch more bosses. I'm going to put an average. So this stage is kind of unique because it appears for only Mitsunari and Tadagatsu. Every time you attack enemies, you gain absolute ton of gold. Every time you get hit, it's like halved. It's got the 4 Kyushu enemies on it as bosses. So it's got Munashige, Kanbei, Yoshihiro, and Sorin as bosses. They all have like English names in this. Like Kanbei is Josie Kuroda. I can't remember what the other ones are called, but they've got like English names basically, because they've all been like Catholicized, as it were. It's okay. It hasn't got any shortcuts, so you can't jump over the bridge, but as a way of getting gold, and if you want to learn to like not get hit, this is probably like a decent stage to try and learn it, because you get rewarded if you don't get hit. Yeah, it's okay. It's a lot better than the other version, I want to say, but it's not a stage you get that often because, well, it doesn't appear in anybody's story mode other than like a final boss for 2 hidden routes. It doesn't appear in the conquest mode that often either. You have to do a bunch of objectives, but it's not a stage I'll go out of my way to try and unlock, but it's one I will happily play. Ambush and Mimikawa. So there is a way to do this really quickly. It's basically the same each time. It says it's random where he reappears in the geysers, but it's not. So the gimmick is there's like a small area which you start in with a hot spring. You defeat the enemies there. Yoshihiro appears. You get him down to half health. He'll run off. It will say he'll appear in a random geyser or geyser in the area. It's always the one in the bottom right, by the way. And if you don't do enough damage to him in a certain amount of time, he will retreat and then go to a random one. That bit is random, I can guarantee it. If you get him down to about a quarter of his health, he will just run off to the area at the top. It's got good enemy variety in this one. It's got the tigers, it's got hidden areas, it's got... capturing all the bases is pretty easy. Like, they don't get recaptured by enemies that often. Or at all. Like, the enemies don't seem to like wander about and try and recapture them for you. So yeah, it's kind of a fun stage. It's not the greatest stage in the game. It gets a bit annoying after you've done it like 3 or 4 times, but yeah, it's quite a fun one. Then we have the Utage stages. So this is one that appears as Kojiro's final stage, which is Occupation of Oshu, which is... Ooh, I don't know where to put this one, actually. I'm going to put it in Super Fever. It's actually quite fun. So the gimmick is you're like in a base at the... There's like a house at the top, because during the story, like, Kojiro is like injured, and you actually play in his second costume for this if you've, like... Well, I think it's only for the first time you've played it. But if you go clockwise around... Sorry. Getting a bit ahead of myself. So there's like rice fields. The environment in this is probably like the best one. So there's like a constant wave of reinforcements being dropped in by Tadagatsu from these like box things, and they try and capture the bases from you. So if you... There's like a generic soldier, like named soldier or something outside each box. If you do that, then he'll stop spawning them, and he'll bring a box in another place to drop enemies from, to try and capture the bases from you. So you have to keep doing that. It's a bit of a game of like whack-a-mole, but it's pretty easy, I must admit. And then once you've defeated all them, him and Tadagatsu and Ieyasu will appear in like a hidden area off to the side. There's also a Drillatron in this stage, but if you capture all the bases, it just like disappears. So mainly for the environment, this one is probably like one of the best like looking stages and more varied than like any of the others. I think one thing you can say about this game and, well, these 2 games is that the environment's actually like a lot more interesting than like Dynasty Warriors. If you look at something like Siege of Karasu Castle, if you look at like the environments, there's like mountains and stuff everywhere. It's got like a fair bit of detail, whereas like Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors, they'll just have like the side of the stage there as a mountain, so you can't look around. It's like if you actually look at these stages a bit more like thoroughly, that the environments are a lot better. So whatever. So this is like the Azure Crimson battle, which has got Masamune and Yukimura as bosses. I'm going to put this in average. It appears fairly regularly in the conquest mode. So there's a bunch of bases in the middle. If you capture all Masamune's within 3 minutes, you unlock a hidden path to the left, which takes you to a fight which you can fight Kojiro and Sasuke at the same time. If you capture all of Yukimura's, as well as getting 200 kills, before you capture all of Masamune's, then you unlock a hidden path to the right, which doesn't really go anywhere. It just gives you a bit of a shortcut up to the the base in front of where Sasuke and Kojiro are. You can get both of those are hidden objectives, which you can get in the same run, which is pretty easy. So yeah, fighting those two together has always been a bit of a pleasure. Obviously, it's a three-way fight, so they can attack each other and do damage, but it's not that common. Like, any three-way fight in this game doesn't seem to... They can attack each other, but they don't tend to. So it would be nice if in future games they did, like, actually get them to try and defeat each other. Takeda Dojo, I'm going to put in bad. It's not a stage I remember that often. Well, it doesn't appear in anybody's story stage. It appears in the Conquest mode, like, very, very rarely. It's ridiculously small. It's not like the Takeda Dojo in 4, which has got, like, an expanded area. At least I don't think it has. There's a bunch of ways of completing this, I think, but it's just not... Compared to the one in 4, which I'm going to be judging this against, it's just not good. And I just don't enjoy it. It's the only stage where Shingen appears as an enemy as well. So... and then we have the... I can't even remember what this called. It's called something Road battle with Matsunaga. The only time he appears as an enemy as well. He has like some generic enemies, which is the Mayoshi Trio, which I think also appear in Sengoku BASARA 2 as like bosses on... What are they called? Nagamasa's stage. So... I'm going to put this in bad as well. It's just like one big long road, which has got that weird boss fight in the middle, and then it's got Matsunaga as a boss at the end. It's not one I particularly remember, because it's not... Well, I don't actually know if this can appear in the Conquest mode. Not that you'd actually want to do it, because it's just kind of boring, and I really don't like Matsunaga as a character. Like, playing his story, I'm just like, yeah, you have some okay moves, but you're just like fucking annoying. But whatever. And then we have the Yamazaki battle, which has got Mitsunari and Ieyasu. I'm going to put this in definitely avoid. It's just annoying. This is the other stage which the death carriage appears in, which has got a very long winding road, and it's got a whole bunch of them that just run across the road and get in your way. There's a lot of not doing anything in this stage at all until you get to like a base with generic enemies in, and then it's got those two as a fight at the end, which yeah, it's just not fun. That's it. Basically, it's just not fun. Kyoto Fireworks Festival, which has Keiji as a boss as well as Kasuga and Kanetsugu. Kanetsugu obviously being a joke in this. He appears once you defeat all the base captains, and he opens the gate for you because you launch him into the air, and basically smashes into the gate, and then you have to go into a Kasuga boss fight, and then you get up to Keiji. I'm going to put this in bad. So this is going in bad for like one reason. So unless you're playing as Magoichi or Tsuruhime, there are enemies which suck you up all the time. They have a ridiculously long animation of you being in their trumpet thing, and then they launch you out, and it is unbelievably frustrating that they suck you in and then just do that. They basically do no damage to you as well, which is just even worse. The only reason this isn't... one of the things that would put it into average, which I'm really stumbling over my words now, is that the Kasuga cutscene is actually like really amazing. It's just like so overly sexualized, and that's probably the reason why she got that pole dance super move in 4. Is probably because of this stage. Yeah, Kasuga and Keiji are quite good bosses to fight. The stage is relatively small, but like just the enemies in this are just unbelievably annoying. Unlike the Kyoto Fireworks Festival in 4, which has all the enemies like trying to dance and actually has a mechanic linked to that, in this it's just annoying. So there. I can't remember what this is called. It's called like the Osaka Conspiracy Battle or something like that. This is one of Sasuke's stages. I think it's his second one. So there's a lot to like about this stage. For ninja characters, it's a lot more interesting. You can also do this as like Matsu and a bunch of other characters like Tadagatsu if you've got the flight mode enabled. It's got a bunch of hidden areas like on high platforms which you can glide to. One of the hidden objectives is find Kanbei, which is hidden in a well in an area off to the side, which you have to do a bit of platforming to get to, and you like jump over a bunch of roofs and like glide down. So a lot easier as a ninja character to find him. Relatively easy XP. You don't even have to defeat him either. He's just in an area on his own. You can defeat him to obviously get a weapon, but you can just like immediately jump out of that area with a catapult. It's got a bunch of different routes. I'm going to put this in... Do we put it in Super Fever? No, I'm going to put it in Average. It's alright. It's not a stage for every character, because obviously some characters don't have the ability to like jump over that gap. There is, on the wiki, there is actually a list of characters that can do it, but you have to... If you fall down, then it's a long path to get around, but obviously if you do it as like characters that can glide, so Matsu, Kasuga, Sasuke, and Kotaro, it's a hell of a lot easier to do. Yeah, it's kind of a fun stage. And then we have the, I think it's this Itsukishima conspiracy battle. It's going in bad mainly because it's boring. It's so you got like 4 ships that you have to capture, and then it releases the area which those 2 are on. There's like no special gimmicks to it at all. No enemies ever try to recapture the bases. It's like the introduction battle to Utage. Yeah, it's just boring. It's got Yoshitsugu as a boss, which is one of my least favourite characters, and he's just... It's just not... It's not great. It's not one I'll avoid. If I was given the choice of this or any of those, I'd definitely pick this. So, yeah, I'm not even sure what the hidden objectives are, but I can't really see any way of making this like a more fun stage. It's just boring. That's his greatest crime. That's a lot with some of these stages. Like, they're just, some of them are just boring, and then some of them are just downright like got bad design. But there we go. Let me know what you think. Obviously, this is going to be a lot more subjective than some other things. Like, you can say about characters like, yeah, who's the best character because they're strong, makes a lot of sense. But with this, it's like how much I enjoy playing as a stage. I would say some of these are like literally bad designs like that. This is just a bad design. Like, there is literally no doubt about that. That is a bad fucking design for a stage. Whereas a lot of these, you can like them for a variety of reasons or not. Yeah, just let me know what you think. Hopefully this was an interesting video, which I just got to talk and go on random tangents about my best friend backstabbing me. I don't know why I had to bring that up, but it's just kind of funny. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you with another video. You know what? We might do a Girls and Panzer Girls tier list, because that would be quite fun to talk about. But we shall see. Thank you very much for watching if you did, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.